Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be discussing project monitoring and controls. So when we talk about project monitoring and controls, once a project begins, the project manager's job is not simply to let the plan run on its own, right? A project plan gives direction, but monitoring and controls help determine whether the project is actually moving in the right direction. So when it comes to project monitoring, it is the process of tracking project progress, right? Project control is the process of taking action when the project begins to move away from the approved plan. So, in simple terms, when we talk about monitoring, monitoring asks, where are we now in the project? Controls ask, what do we need to adjust in the project, right? So, why does all this matter? It matters because projects rarely go exactly as planned, and we will plan everything in a project. Deadlines shift, costs can change, people can become unavailable, stakeholders can request changes, risk become real issues, right? Technology may not work as expected. But what a strong project manager does, they do not wait until the end of the project to discover all the problems. An effective, strong, and effective project manager tracks the progress through the project so issues can be identified early and corrected before they become larger failures, right? So this is important because a project can look busy without being healthy. People may be working hard, meetings may be happening, tasks may be moving, but the project may still be behind schedule, over budget, outside the scope, or disconnected from its original value. So what monitoring and controls help do is they help the project manager separate activity from progress. So what does the project manager monitor, right? So project managers, when it comes to monitoring and controls, project managers monitor several important areas, right? So one of them could be that they monitor the schedule to see whether work is being completed on time. They can monitor the budget to determine whether spending is staying within its approved limits. They can monitor scope to make sure the team is delivering what is agreed upon. They can monitor quality to make sure that deliverables meet expectations. They can monitor risk to see whether potential problems are becoming actual issues. And they can monitor stakeholder engagement to determine whether communication expectations and support are all aligned. You know, for example, if a project team is developing a new training program, project manager may track whether the curriculum is complete, whether the facilitators are prepared, whether materials are ready, whether the participants have been confirmed, or whether the budget is still on target. That tracking helps project managers see whether the project is moving toward a successful delivery. So let's use a real world example. So let's use something very similar to what we're doing, and that is course development, right? So let's say we have a course development project. Suppose Reynolds is redesigning a project management course. The project plan may include creating weekly modules, developing assignments, building rubrics, recording lectures, uploading materials into learning management systems, and reviewing the course before the students begin. Everything that we do, right? So monitoring means the project manager or the course lead regularly checks whether those pieces are being completed on time and at that expected level of quality. If the lecture recordings are behind schedule, that becomes a warning sign. If the assignments are complete but the rubrics are missing, that creates a quality assessment issue, right? If the learning management system is not ready, the students can experience confusion when the course opens. Controls are the actions taken to correct those problems. So the course lead, project manager may adjust the timeline, get additional support. They may simplify part of the design. They can prioritize the most urgent materials or communicate changes to department leadership. The goal is not to pretend everything is fine. The goal is to respond early enough to the project so the project can have a successful outcome. Okay. So let's consider real quick a leadership development program. So imagine an organization is launching a leadership cohort for emerging leaders. The project includes recruiting participants, designing the curriculum, scheduling sessions, preparing the facilitators, deliver training, and collecting feedback and reporting outcomes. Now, during monitoring, project manager may notice that the participation registration is lower than expected, which is important information. If the team waits until the program begins, it may be too late to fix the problem. So control action may include to increase the outreach, ask supervisors to nominate people, right? Extend the registration deadline or adjust the cohort size. The project manager may also monitor participant feedback during the program. So if participants say that sessions are valuable but too rushed, the project manager can adjust future sessions, add support materials, or revise the pace of the cohort. This is monitoring and control in action. The project manager is not just about checking boxes. The project manager is protecting the value, right? So project monitoring and controls also require that leadership. As a project manager, must be willing to communicate honestly. If the project ever goes off track, that means telling stakeholders that the timeline is at risk. That means the budget needs attention, or the scope may be reviewed. So understand that as a project manager, you are responsible. You are the one for that to provide that strong leadership. And to close out, project manager and controls are essential to that, and that's essential to that part of your leadership because they're going to help you track progress, identify problems, manage change, and keep the project aligned with its goals. So remember that monitoring tells you what is happening, controls tells you to decide what to do about it. So just understand a project is not successful because it is a plan. A project is successful because the project is actively managed. So be that strong project manager, monitor the work, control the changes, and communicate the truth and protect the value that the project is created to deliver. Thank you.